So good afternoon. My name's Andrew Fix, and welcome to the demo of Attini Comms. So a little bit about myself. I was an Intranet manager for quite some time, I think almost 10 years, and then post being Intranet manager, I landed in the SharePoint space quite a lot, and from there joined up with the Rapid Circle group and the Attini Comms product. So I'm now the Attini Comms product manager. So what we're going to do is take you through a quick presentation, and I'll try to keep the presentation quick, and then we'll jump straight into a demo. Okay, so hopefully everything going to plan. You'll be checking out the green Attini Comms screen. So as you can see here, we're just going to do a quick introduction of the elements of Attini Comms, then jump into the demo, and if there are any questions, we'll grab them at the end. Okay, so a little bit of a background to Attini Comms. So one of the things that we felt when I spent my time inside organisations working with communications departments, I felt that businesses should be able to communicate with users as simply as sending an email. But with all the features of SharePoint and all the features of Intranet today, it still seems to be really quite hard. In most organisations where I've worked, we've also found that there are a lot of different tools, a lot of different systems, a lot of different processes being used to publish information on the intranet, whether that be e-newsletters, the intranet, magazines, lots of different things, even printed material. And with each one of them, there seems to be a lot of double handling of information and a lot of cost involved in that. One of the other big issues we came across, of course, is the balance between corporate level information, or whether that be global, or whether that be national information, and local information. So information about your the office, or your division, or your country, or even your interests, social clubs, or cycling groups, anything like that. We also found that there was a lack of interactive features. So we didn't really see too many places where users had a voice. And of course the issue with mobile. Everyone needs mobile today. So the other thing that we found is that any SharePoint product seemed to be really hard. It used to take a long time to set up. It was very expensive. And everything like that. So what we did is we've made sure that the Attini Comms product's really easy to set up and configure and get rolling as quick as possible. The next thing about Attini Comms is the authoring experience. So the authoring experience is really leveraging the SharePoint capabilities, using the SharePoint permission models, editing capabilities. So it's all web-based, and there's no additional software. Users don't really need training. If you do have training, it could be as simple as a 5 or 10 minute explanation of how to use the product, and then off you go. The next big thing that I mentioned earlier was around that balance between corporate level news or information and local information, whether that be departmental or office-based or even interests. So in a lot of organisations, you have obviously your different departments. Often there's the verticals and then the horizontals like finance and HR and things like that. So what we have is, with targeting, we have the capability of saying, okay, this particular news channel is now available to all of the companies, so it matches everybody's profile. But we might have a news channel that's set up just to match the profile of people that work in a certain division. And that could be the division, say finance for the whole of the country, or the whole of the region, or the whole world. And it could be that you even have subdivisions. So it may be that you have a finance in Asia Pacific, and a finance in Europe, and a finance in the Americas. So you could have multiple finance channels, and depending on the user's profile, they'll get to see the information that's most applicable to them. So when we have these concepts of news channels, which I'll show you in a few minutes when we get onto the live demo, we also have a concept of feeds. And a feed is the ability to take one or two or any number of news channels and bring them together and display them anywhere on your intranet. They can be displayed multiple times on the one page. They can be displayed anywhere. So I'll be showing you that in a moment as part of a live demo, so I won't bore you with the PowerPoint presentation too long. The next part is around the social features. So with news on intranets and with corporate or company-controlled news, we see that there's a big gap. You see some companies with really stock standard news on the intranet, so they publish 2 articles or 3 articles a week. It goes up there, it's a corporate message, it's not very social, there's no interaction, there's no crossover with social things like news feed or Yammer, interaction like comments and likes or shares. So what we try to do is we try to take a balance between the fully user-generated content and social content like Yammer or newsfeed, and the company-controlled information, and try to cross those together a little bit more so that we can take the company-controlled information and news and let that go through the social channels so that you can still get that viral effect even though it's a company-controlled media. The next big thing we found was around the lack of analytics. So it seems to be really hard for people just to get analytics on how many people are reading their news item, how popular the news items are, if they're commenting, how many people are commenting, lots of things like that. So it makes it very hard for communicators to understand how their message is being received. And of course, the last one there is mobile apps. And so with mobile apps, people just are starting to expect them nowadays. It's a case of either bring your own device, or people just generally have smartphones now or tablets, and they want to be able to read and see the information at their leisure on their own devices. So the mobile experience is something that's very important and a part of the Attini Comms product. Great. So as I mentioned, I was just going to do that quick presentation there, and then I'm going to jump onto my live demo now. If my screen isn't refreshing or you've got any questions, please use the question and answer box on GoToWebinar. And I'll either slow down or do something to try to resolve those issues. All right, let's get rid of PowerPoint. Okay, great. So what we're looking at here is my demo intranet. So this is an intranet that has been built for ourselves, Rapid Circle. And you can see here that we've got some of the basic components that you'd expect on an intranet. We have our global navigation here, our horizontal navigation. We've got corporate news up the top here. Down here we've actually got personalized news. So this web part here at the top is called news, and this one just below here, these are 2 web parts that are being driven by Attini Comms. In the center here we've just got a Yammer or a news feed. And we've got some apps over here that we just use to run our intranet generally. So, as I mentioned before, Attini Comms is really easy to install. So it's a single SharePoint app, and when you install the app, it'll come into your app catalog, and you'll see the button here which says Attini Comms Publisher. When you click on this button, it's going to take you through a wizard the first time. So with the wizard goes through and helps you set up your news configuration based on your business requirements and your organization. So once you've gone through that wizard, which I'll explain a little bit more in a moment, you'll land on this Attini Comms dashboard. This is an administration page for the, I suppose, owners of the news system, or corporate communications or marketing, or it could be an IT pro. So when you go through the wizard, it takes you through a few steps, and the first thing that it does is it goes off and looks at your SharePoint user profile store. So the user profile store is the piece that holds all of the information about your user. So it has things like the user's name, first name, last name, email address, and as long as you've got some information that you can populate into there, like maybe location, department, manager status, you can map any one of those fields or even create more fields in the user profile store and have these mapped to the Attini Comms product. So once you come to your Attini Comms dashboard, you'll see here that this one has been set up on this SharePoint. This is actually an Office 365 environment, but it works just as well on-premise. You can see that this is the site collection it's on. We can see the amount of news feeds and how many channels and users and how many mobile devices have connected. So the personalization field that I've selected for this particular demo environment is the department, location, and interests. And down here we can see who the administrators are of this, this environment. So just to be clear, this isn't where people would publish news. This is where you control the news channels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in here quickly and I'm going to create a news channel. So creating a news channel is just creating a single sub-site in SharePoint. So I can say Demo 99. I can select my language. We have English and Dutch at the moment, but we can support more. You just select somebody from inside the one of the registered users. And then down here we've got the ability to add an audience to this news channel. So users who, this is a way of internal communications or marketing to control the amount of news channels that get created and whose profiles they match. So I can come in here and say, okay, this particular news channel is going to go for all departments, all locations, and all interests. So by doing this, the news channel here is going to match everybody's profile in the whole company. So anybody that publishes into this news channel, their news is going to get seen by all employees. But you might not want to do that. You might say, actually, I want to create one for the legal department. All legal departments don't care about their interests. So this particular news channel is going to match anybody with legal in their profile. When I hit create here, what it's going to do is actually going to go off and create a new SharePoint site. As such, it's just going to take a little while, maybe 30 seconds, hopefully. And it'll take me back to the news channel list in a moment. So this is creating a site. It's using this title, this name, this language. It's adding Anne as the owner of that site, and it's adding these audience personalization fields. I must be having a slow Office 365 night. It will come back in just a moment. Okay, only when I'm doing demos does it take this long. I'll give it a little bit longer and then I'll just show you one that's already created, and then I'll come back and show you that's completed itself. Oh, no, there we go. So we can see that the Demo 99 site has been created. The owner is Anne Wallace, and I can edit that. I could remove that site as well. So if I click on this one, what it's going to do, it's going to take me off to that new news channel. So this particular one, because I haven't enabled some features, doesn't have the new look and feel to it. But this is a basic news channel ready to go. Once I apply this is just a custom design that we've created. This is actually a legal site that I created earlier. So you can see here that this news channel, it becomes like an archive. So it shows all the news items that are created. and just and shows them in reverse chronological order. So it's the latest news comes on top. So if I just refresh this page, you can see that this article was created 7 hours ago. This one was 10 hours, and this one was 10 hours. So I've just created these ones this afternoon. So you can see over here some news tools. So the news tools, this is the admin area. Now this only shows for people who have got the right administration access. So where people don't have access to publish, they won't see these tools. So what I can do now is I can come in here and I could create an article, I could manage my articles, or I could manage my comments. Let's just have a look at the news items first. So what it pulls up here is it pulls up the title, the description, how many times it's been viewed, how many comments, likes, and when it was published. And when you have a look at the news article itself, you'll see that the news article looks a lot more like a news article. It doesn't just look like a blog turned upside down with news written on it. This particular one doesn't have very much content. It's just the one sentence. You can see in here I've got the ability to comment. And if I want to, I can actually post this to Yammer, my comment. So what would happen here is that my comment would go, it will send off to Yammer, and in my Yammer feed it would be a post from myself saying, Andrew just commented on this article, and here's the link to, this is what he said, and this is a link to the article. We can see here that I'm not currently logged in as the administrator. So if we go back to, we can also see the views and what's been published. So the good thing about the news channel is you also get analytics around just the basic news channel. So you can see here what's the most viewed, most commented, most liked information that you've been publishing in your channel. What we'll do quickly is have a look at creating an article, which is also very easy. So I can say, I can do whatever I want in here. So I can use the standard fonts from the organization. I can insert video, or I can insert an image. There's a picture. There we go. I'm going to put a picture in of the desks. Save. Oops, a bit big. There we go. So I'm going to hit save here. So this is actually an old demo environment. The new one has a few extra features down here. We have staging and byline and embargo publishing features. So you can actually publish an article and not have it show up until the time that you want it to show up. So it may be that you want it to set it to Friday at midday. So just have a little bit of caching going on here, but I think any moment now you'll see that the new article is now on this page. Great, so that's really how easy Attini is, just to get started and get publishing. So it takes about 15 minutes or 20 minutes to install. You go through the wizard, which takes another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can create yourself a news channel and you can start publishing. So that's really how easy it all is. The next thing we have here is around news feed. So with the news feed, the news feed actually works hand in hand with another component, which is called the news reader. So if I come back and have a look at this page, this is sort of a newsroom layout of Attini Comms. So what I can do here is come down and have a look at edit page. So what I've got here is the Attini Comms reader web part. So I come in here and edit the web part. you'll see down the bottom right-hand side here, there's the Attini Comms reader web part. So there's a bunch of information here that I'll show you, but one of them here is the newsfeed ID. So with the newsfeed, there are 3 ways of displaying a newsfeed. So if you don't put anything in the newsfeed ID, what it's going to do is it's going to pull back articles that match your profile. So that could be articles from across the entire organization, but it will just show you the articles that match the attributes that are in your profile. So the next thing we can do is we can put in 0. Putting in 0 means that it's going to pull back all news from all news channels across the entire organization. So if you wanted to create a newsroom, the best way to do that is to put the Attini Comms reader web part on the page, put the newsfeed ID in a 0, and it'll pull back everything. The next thing we can do is we can create custom feeds. So if I come back into the newsfeed area here, I can just click on Create Newsfeed. I can say, all right, I want I'm going to call this one all finance news. Make Tony the owner. What I'm going to do is down here, I can see these are all my news channels. So I could come in here and say, okay, this one here's got finance in it. That's the only one. But just say there was 2 with finance. I could say that these 2 here, actually finance and sales and marketing both report to the same CEO. So what we'll do is we'll join these 2 feeds and create him a custom feed, or her. The other option I can do is I can say, actually, I'm going to select all news channels, and then I'm going to say where the department equals finance. I don't care what the location is or the interest. So what this is going to do, this is going to take all the news from all channels and filter it wherever it has finance. And this includes any channels that we create in the future. So if we created a new news channel tomorrow and it had finance in there, it would become a part of this feed. I click Add and I hit Create, and I'll get a feed ID. So if we go back and have a quick look at, I'll go back to the home page. What I've done on this particular home page is that I've created 2 news feeds for the home page. This one here is a carousel, and this one's looking at the corporate news, and I've said, bring back all the corporate news that applies to everybody. This one down here, I've left empty. So I've said this for this one to target the user by their profile. So if I just grab this browser here, what you're going to see is that I'm logged in as Rob Young here. And Rob has a profile in finance. So down here you can see, he's got a profile of legal. So down here you can see Rob's getting information from the legal area. So US justice, law, suits, everything else. Sues, Microsoft sues Samsung. Then what I'm going to do here is just show you, oops, this is Tony. Now Tony is a finance guy. So down here in this information down the bottom, you're going to see that it's finance related news. So I've got the Microsoft financial year 2014 earnings. So this way you can have people come into one home page, one intranet, and they have personalized news mixed in with their corporate news. So I'll just leave that one for the moment. And I'll just show just down here. Screen refreshes, there you go. There's multiple ways of displaying the information as well. So I've got the data view here. And the data view can say, okay, I'd like to show this by the most recent, most discussed, most viewed, most liked. So you can order the information in any way. The other thing you can do is you can create multiple display templates. So a display template is how it looks, obviously. So this one here is a summary. And this one here is a, it's a shorter summary. And then over here, of course, we have that carousel view. So all of this is managed in the admin again, where we can come down here, we can have a look at the tenant templates. I could add a new template. And what we're able to do is we're able to create a template, call it whatever we want. You just put the HTML in, so it's just HTML lining up the images, deciding if it's a carousel or deciding if it's a title summary, whether or not you want to show 300 characters, 500 characters, it doesn't matter. And you can just create, upload your supporting files that you may need to make that view look nice. So these are a couple of the views that we have, and you can see here that if I make this a smaller pane, we've created a responsive page, and we've made the new carousel slider responsive as well. So this fits into the page here wherever you, whatever size screen you have, even if you're on a mobile device. Okay, great. So what we've shown you so far is around creating a news site, creating a news article, consuming feeds and creating feeds. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the mobile experience. So we're nearly done. Just trying to drag this across, just be a moment. So what I'm going to try to do now, I'll go into plan, is to share my iPad onto the screen. Sorry, it's just taking a little while to load up. Here we go. So you should see now a mobile screen in the middle. There we go. So this is my iPad currently running the Attini Comms app. And you can see here that I can scroll through and use the flipboard approach to viewing my articles. I can flip back through. I can select an article. And I can read my article. I can read the comments. And I can comment directly from the iPad. So on the iPad app, it's also available on Android and Windows phones and Surface. It's the personalized news feed. So for anybody that has news personalized to them, so whatever news articles match their profile, they'll come through to this to the device. You can see here that in the settings area that I'm currently logged in as Rob Young. That's why I'm seeing the legal news. And you can see here I can actually filter by the legal news and just show the items that come from that legal site. So you see here that's just the one page of legal news, or I could say all news. I could check out that article that we saw earlier. I can read the article, and we can see the comment that I made there on the SharePoint side. So all of this is synced up, so users can be on a train, on the way to work, reading the news on a nice reading experience. They can comment on the news, and when they get to the office, it's all synced up to SharePoint, and anybody reading the intranet news can also comment, and it comes back to the mobile devices. So yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much of people's time, so I will shut that one for the moment. And at this point, we're actually pretty much at the end of the presentation. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation and you found that interesting. So if you have any questions, you can either use the question and answer box and I can give you some more details now, or if you would like to contact me or go via the Attini website, we can organise a personal demo. We could organise a trial of the product. If it's on Office 365, we can organise trials very easily. If it's on-premise, it's a little bit harder because we have to do an install and yeah, it just takes a little bit more time. So sometimes we just set up a trial Office 365 account and we get you up and running within a day. So yeah, if you do have any questions, please let me know, or if you'd like to get in contact with us, my details are on the screen now. All right. Doesn't look like we have any questions at the moment, so at that point I'll say thank you very much for joining the webinar. I hope you enjoyed it and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much.